Specialist local sports update brought to you by Chad and Sandy Real Estate. Tonight, the Jacksonville Dolphins basketball team will head south to DeLand to take on the Stetson Hatters for a 7 o'clock tip airing on 1010 a.m. and the 1010XL app. As for the North Florida Ospreys, they travel over the West Coast set for a 7 p.m. tip-off against the Florida Gulf Coast Eagles. It's 71 degrees at 2 o'clock time and temp, brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, Lauren Brooks, Taylor Dahl, and Tom McManus. This is
Helmets and Heels.
Helmets and Heels on 1010XL.
We are nothing if not prepared. And today, Tom McManus came prepared with PBR. Oh, wait, I mean QBR.
PBR. You know what? I'd like you called that. Have a few of those.
I wondered if you'd bring a PBR to go along with our discussion of Trevor Lawrence and his QBR.
Yeah, the PBRs. I had a couple down at Pete's this past week.
Very nice.
It's a good spot. Actually, when I come walking into the back bar and it's the bartenders I know, they don't even ask. They're like,
crack it open.
I'm like, yeah, sure, bring it on. But yeah, QBR and rating. Well, you listen, we're talking about 2026 being a big year again.
Mm-hmm.
We know our team only goes as far as the QB will take them. That's in a general type sense. So I thought, I was like, all right, I want to look, because I didn't really look, per year, per game kind of thing. Like, you look at rating, you look at QBR. Now, you look, you can have all kinds of stats to measure whatever. You know what I mean? These are stats that are generally used, and it's just based off of production. Based off how you did in a game. It's not a what if this or what if that. This is what you did. Passer ratings, all passing. QBR is more than that. It's rushing. It's what you do at certain times of the field. If you turn the ball over, things like that. So I just wanted to know, looking at what is a good QBR, what is a good rating, what's elite, what's above average, what's below, and where does Trevor just fit in that rating? It was pretty fascinating. I'll give you a little hint. 2022 was better than 2025.
Yeah.
Not by much.
In a lot of the numbers
Not by much,
put
but
together too.
Pretty close. So just interesting. And this whole notion that, the last half of the year, it wasn't. It was 5 games. Now, he had 3 in a row in the beginning of the year last year. Not in the beginning. Weeks 4, 5, and 6. It was San Fran, KC, and Seattle. So he had good ratings, not elite. Elite's 100. They say 110. I gave it 105 and up. I gave a little bit, But those last 5 games, he had plenty of ratings in those elite numbers. So just thought it would be cool to go through it and take a look. And I didn't include year 1. With Herbs.
That's understandable.
Feel like that's, throw that one out the window. But listen, year 2, was first year Doug. And after that year, we were jacked up about this team, about our quarterback and the future moving forward. And it started off okay the next year. And then little by little, it crumbled away. So we'll just go through it. I thought you guys came up with these spreadsheets. Well, I got a spreadsheet.
But you got a lot of data.
You can tell who's the older person in the group. I'm all paper and writing and not digitalized, but whatever.
And reading glasses.
And reading glasses. Thank you.
Hey, I can say that just because I have terrible eyesight. And the fact that I don't yet have to wear reading glasses, I'm going to take a victory lap.
I'm with you. Yeah, so we'll talk about that.
Yeah, so in your research, did you feel better about what Trevor can do going into 2026 based off of 2025? Or did you walk away going, well, 2022 was his best yet, and it got worse the next 2 years. Yeah, so now I'm not sure what's going to happen.
And for the record,
season.
When I say best yet, as far as the rating is concerned in the QBR, not as everything else. The 25 to 8 touchdown interceptions compared to the 29 and 12. I think it ended up being was that about right? 29 and 12 this past 29-14. Touchdown to interception this year. Yeah. So, as far as the rating is concerned. Passing. Yeah. But no, I kind of feel like, it's what we've seen out of Trevor. Like, there's elite numbers every year. Last year, he had quite a bit of elite ratings, right? And that's that highest number. But then he has the ratings where you're like, man, that's... And it's funny, you look at the Arizona game last year. Okay, I'll just take that as as an example.
By the
There
way, real quick to add,
Yeah.
2022, 5 rushing touchdowns for Trevor to
Yeah.
add to the stat. And then this year, 9
9.
rushing
Right.
touchdowns.
Yeah, his QBR in 2022 and 2025 are good because why? Because he ran more.
Mhm.
He did. He for sure did. But back to like Arizona, we think last year Arizona was like the turning point. He's even said.
He said that last week.
You know, like it
at Radio
feels
Row.
like, yeah, that's when everything clicked. We feel that way too. You know, but his rating was an 81.4, his QBR 32.4, which is below average.
Because he turned the ball over.
Because he turned the
sure
ball.
that's a
So
huge part
that's
of
the whole
QBR,
point. Like, this
yeah.
isn't an end-all say-all. Oh, this
Sure.
is what this means, because factors go into it.
Yeah.
Listen, we'll take the 3 picks as long as he's throwing 3 touchdowns and winning the football game. You know, that type of thing. I even said, you know, during the year, like, I'll take the low percentage of completion as long as you're not turning the ball over and you're throwing it down the field, which he was. So, you know, that kind of factors in. But you had some stats too similar, or what are you looking at?
It was pretty similar, and I use Sumer Sports, which we've had people on here talking about some stuff, and they're really good at just breaking down specifically, and you could go in and look at quarterbacks. You could break it down for when they're blitzed, when they're pressured, your early downs, late downs, first half of game, second half of game. So there's a lot of things you can go through and break down. And I didn't obviously go through everything because that would take forever, but I focused on just the overall, that EPA per play. They use the EPA per play. And so if people don't know what that technically means, is it's expected points added. So it's an advanced football metric measuring how many points a single play adds or subtracts from a team's scoring potential. So it's based on a lot of different things, the down, distance, field position. It calculates the difference of expected points after a play, providing a more accurate measure of the efficiency from that specific player. And so it's a very detailed, goes into a lot of things of how they calculate these things. So this one's based on that, just starting with the EPA per play. When you look at the 4, I left that first year out too, because it's just, you kind of throw that out the window. 2022, his pass EPA, I'll start with just that. The pass EPA in 2022 was by far his highest. It was 83.23, and this year in 2025 was a 34.88. So drastically different when it came to the passing game in 2022. But the total EPA in 2022 was a 78.01, and 2025 was a 60.67. So that shows to me how much his legs helped things this year and advanced in a lot of things. He had 359 rushing yards and 9 touchdowns this year, obviously, and in 2022 is 291 and 5. But going through that, it was interesting because there were a lot of numbers that go back and show that in 2022, at least according to these EPA measurements, sack percentage was way better. His sack percentage in 2022 was 4.25. This year was 6.38.
Only 27 sacks that year. They were pretty good O-line that year.
Yeah, and so that also could factor into it. Yeah, he was sacked 41 times this year, so it actually is a decent amount of sacks.
Highest ever out of those
in his
4
career,
years.
And so there are things that I think that you kind of do take maybe a little bit of a step back and say, okay, to Lauren's point, 2022, you were seeing a lot of these things happening, and the numbers, at least statistically, the eye test is a whole other thing. So that's part of it too. And we saw what happened in those last 5-6 games this year of the comfortability in the pocket, his decision making, the accuracy. Those are things that you can't really measure in these numbers. But you want to see that continue, because there's still a lot of things, and we'll go through this a lot more of this today. I'll break down red zone blitz and pressures as we go through the show to show kind of like what happened through the years and some of those things too. And you see improvements in areas, and you see it kind of stay the same in other areas when it comes to Trevor. And so you want to after looking at all of this, to me, I was kind of like, okay, you had that final stretch of games that was good. We've got to see that. You need to see what those last 5-6 games were almost immediately next year, or I think there will be a little bit worry that it's not a consistent thing for him, and it's more of he can find the spark, but can he keep the spark? Because he struggles against pressures. There's a lot of kind of notes that go into that. There's some little things in the red zone he still has to get better at, and so those are things that are all going to add up. But now, to me, it's like, okay, Liam Cohen, this is your job. You have this full season with Trevor, and you can go back and you watch all this film and you say, these are the things you improved in. This is what you still need to improve in. And that's the positive thing of feeling like you have your head coach who's offensive-minded coach and who's one of the more brilliant ones in the NFL. I'm confident that he's able to fix some of these things that didn't totally get solved by the end of the year.
And listen, if it clicked against Arizona, that's week 11. So it took 10 games to kind of figure it out, and it looks that way on the paper as well.
When Liam got here, Trevor was in a sling. So I think that's part of it too, is we've talked so much about the wristband, him needing to wear that, understanding the playbook, and then everyone else on the offense understanding that too. You also have to put in perspective, like when Liam arrived in Jacksonville, Florida, Trevor Lawrence had a shoulder sling.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's thankfully he's not going to start from that part of things, and he's not going to have to work on his mechanics. I mean, you always work on your mechanics, but he's not going to have to completely change his footwork.
Yeah. Right.
And I pushed back on the idea that Trevor was as erratic as the last 2 years. Like, to me, this season,
the last 2 years were awful.
Yeah.
That's
and
what
obviously
I was just comparing
injured
to
too.
2022. Yeah, but when you go through, for example, the total EPA per play for Trevor in 2022, he was the 8th best quarterback in the NFL that year. In 23, he was 21st. Last year, he was 19th, and this year he was 13th. So it was still statistically, according to these EPA numbers, which, like I said, factor in a lot. It talks about the sack percentage, scramble percentage, completion percentage, average depth of target, pass throws, time to throw, passing touchdowns, interceptions, yards per average, rushing yards, it takes all of those numbers and puts them into one thing. What you're not calculating is what were drops and what were like some of those other, and I don't know, maybe they go through some of these numbers and maybe it does factor in some of those things, because obviously there were a lot of drops even in 2022 and you still had a high EPA pass per play. So it's a lot of interesting numbers, but you did see him resurge in a lot of areas this year compared to the last two.
He did. So in these, the ratings numbers, right? So if you look at, I went by elite rating, 105 and up, above average 90 and up, below average 90 and down. Just the passer rating, okay? He was 9 games below 90 in 2025, this past year. He was 5 in the elite and 3 in the above average in the ratings are concerned.
And so of those that he was below 90, do you know when on the schedule those were?
Early.
Okay.
Early, absolutely, but like right up until Arizona. Okay. So that may make sense. But you go back to 20, you can even go 2022. He was 8 in the elite and 8 below average. So that felt like Trevor. Really good at times, not so good at times. You go to 2023, 3 elite, 7 below.
And I bet those 3 were all average. In the beginning of the season.
No, 1 in the first week. Then against Buffalo, he was very good. And then he had 1 more in Cincinnati. He was wicked good. He was 125.4. Got injured in that game. So if after that, you could factor in, that he had an injury to his foot, and that was a problem. But yeah, it's just interesting. Again,
we're trying to identify trends here. Like, is he always going to struggle at the beginning of the season? But wait, in 2023, he didn't struggle in the beginning of the season. The team struggled at the end of the season. I also want to compare some of your numbers to quarterbacks around the league as well, as far as the QBR over the last few years. So we will continue the QB conversation. Keep it right here. Helmets and Heels, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Crack up the band! Sports takes with a touch of chaos.
A fiesta.
Oh, yeah! Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
Are they any good?
They are The Drill.
They suck.
Mornings on 1010XL.
Oh, gee, that makes me feel so much better.
Hey, it's Travis from Cannons of Jacks. When you need a trailer hitch, gooseneck, or RV towing options, call us at Cannons. We've been doing it for 55 years, and customer service is our #1 priority. Visit cannonsofjacks.com.
Helmets and Heels.
Backed by Green Law Group.
For the insured.
Fighting for you.
Royal Pest Services, a local company you can trust. Royal Pest is a certified installer of tap insulation, which stands for thermal, acoustic, and pest control. Reduce that electric bill by adding pest protection. It's that easy. Online at royalpestservices.com.
Don't miss the Bari Breakdown with Dr. George Bari on XL Primetime, Wednesdays around 1:35 for the latest in sports injuries from all the big names in the game. Who's MIA, who's coming back? Dr. George Bari on XL Primetime, Wednesdays at 1:35 on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Low mortgage rates are back. Listen, Loan Pronto has fixed rate mortgages with APRs as low as 4.89%. It's the lowest in years. Hey, gang, Prosser here. Smart homeowners are taking advantage of this while they can. If you got stuck in a 6% loan, you can lower your payment big time. Or you can keep your primary mortgage intact, get cash out, equity with Loan Pronto's rapid equity loans. One homeowner just got $250,000 out of their home. They paid off all their credit cards, some car loans, and cut their monthly expense by $2,000. Call now. See what option works best for you, but don't miss this big rate drop of 2026. Ask about new home loans, VA loans, full cash out refis, or their famous rapid equity loan. You can close in less than 2 weeks. You may be able to skip your next 2 house payments altogether. Call 904-999-1508 or visit loanpronto.com. No hard credit pull. 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. APR for well-qualified buyers.
Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Hey, life can get a little hectic at times, and no one has time to get hurt, lost wages, injuries that not only hurt but hinder our success as well. And if you're in this position due to the negligence of another, you deserve to get paid. What's up, Jacksonville? Tom McManus here. I know injuries suck, and if you get injured out there, check out Morgan & Morgan, the largest personal injury law firm in the country. 100 offices, 1,000 lawyers with enough firepower to handle any and all personal injury cases that you may be dealing with. They make filing a claim easy and don't get paid unless you do. Morgan & Morgan. That's right, for the people. Visit forthepeople.com or hit pound law from your cell. Pound law, that's all.
Finding the perfect romantic gift she'll treasure forever? It's easier than you think at Beard's Diamonds this Valentine's Day. We've curated a stunning selection of timeless, affordable jewelry she'll absolutely love. Dazzling rings, sparkling earrings, elegant pendants and bracelets, set with brilliant diamonds or colorful gemstones. Classic gold that never goes out of style. And you can't beat the wow factor of top brand designer jewelry. At Beard's, we've got it all under one roof. And right now, we're cranking up the romance with an unbeatable limited time offer. Save up to 40% on all diamond stud earrings, pendants, and tennis bracelets. Imagine her face lighting up when she opens that signature Beard's box on February 14th. Pure magic that lasts a lifetime. Guys, cards, flowers, and candy are sweet, but nothing says I love you forever like a sparkling gift she'll wear and cherish every single day. And that gift is on major sale right now. Plus, Beard's is your local Jacksonville jeweler, family owned and community strong for over 45 years. Right here in the St. John's Town Center. Not some Wall Street chain. We're your neighbors, and we're here for you. Hurry in today. Don't wait. Beard's Diamonds, St. John's Town Center.
Jacksonville is the flip side of Florida. And inside the flip side, the action never stops. If you're tired of hearing about the best games after the final whistle, don't get left on the sidelines. Whether it's a unique sporting event you've never seen, a weekend with the family, or a winning date night, Visit Jacksonville is your ultimate playbook. Get in the game. Head to visitjacksonville.com/locals or download the Visit Jacks app today and see everything coming in 2026. Jacksonville. Experience the flip side.
Do you have clicking, popping, swelling, or pain in your knee or shoulder? This can be due to arthritic changes in your joints. Over time, you have wear and tear of your cartilage. I am Dr. George Bari, and here at Bari Orthopedics, we have numerous ways to treat your arthritis, such as regenerative medicine, including PRP and joint replacements with CT guidance for accuracy down to the millimeter. If you are experiencing any of these symptoms, call us for an appointment today or log on to BariOrthopedics.com.
Find out more at BariOrthopedics.com. That's BAHRI Orthopedics.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Natalia Bannister-Roby, President and CEO of ECS for Kids. Thanks to the players, we're helping families rise above generational poverty through early childhood education and holistic family support. It's 26 days until the players.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focus, fueled, fearless, Farah.
How on earth, RJ, did you come up with Dave Matthews covering Jimi Hendrix for today, all along the Watchtower?
Come up with that, RJ? Came up with it from yours truly, because I was listening to it. I said, you know what? You should play this song at the beginning.
Oh, RJ, have you ever heard this cover?
No, normally I just hear the Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, I can understand that. Jimmy's version is obviously
That was live
phenomenal.
in Chicago.
Were you there?
I might have been there.
Been there.
Wait a minute.
It depends on the year. I didn't check the year, but I saw Dave
Oh,
Matthews
okay.
with Christina in Chicago at Soldiers Field.
And you saw him cover this song.
I can't remember because I was maybe, not fully with it, but no, I don't know.
Let's
But I'd
just
have
go
to
with
check.
yes, you saw this. It may not have been the exact year, but you saw Dave Matthews cover this song.
Yeah. And ironically, that we went into that concert, right?
Mhm.
Go to our seats, and a former Jaguar named Jamie Beeson, who used to try out for the Jags, didn't make the team. He was sitting in one of our seats, and he was there when Christina and I met for the first time. So that's funny. And I'm like, what did Jamie doing in my seat? He's like, hey,
ironic.
you got married. We're like, yeah. What do you? He's like, oh, I'm just sitting in the row behind you, and I figured no one was here, so I'd sit here for a minute.
How random.
I know. Wow.
How many concerts have you seen at that stadium?
I saw the Rolling Stones there.
Right.
I saw Dave Matthews there, and I saw U2 there not too long ago.
I
So
feel like you're always saying, like, yeah, it's
That's
Soldier
Soldier
Field.
Field.
I saw this.
Well,
Man, this I
Chicago,
like
I
it.
grew up there. Now we go
concerts
back every other year, and we normally do something like that.
Okay.
Oh, we saw Metallica in Chicago.
That was at Lala, though, right?
Yeah, that was at Lala, not Soldier Field, but yeah.
I saw Bon Jovi at Soldier Field.
Time.
That was-
Nice.
Oh, really?
That was really fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was like 22, I think.
So he didn't have the white hair that he has
yeah,
now.
not yet.
He needs
But
to
I was
just
like the
grow that
youngest one
out.
in the crowd. We had
I've been
actual
that
like
before.
floor, and it was like the whole. I was looking around. I was like, I'm definitely the youngest one in this crowd, but I had a blast.
Yeah.
Have
Put
you
on a
seen
show.
Dave Matthews live?
I have. I saw Dave Matthews in Atlanta, and I've seen in St. Augustine, I believe it was. But Atlanta was the first time, and that show was amazing because they have an amphitheater up in Atlanta too, and it's great. Like obviously we love the St. Augustine amp. It's very similar except just bigger. There's a lot more grass area in the back, so they have a lot of people will just bring their blankets and chairs and like set up in the back, which the amp has like a little bit of that, but this is a huge area, so it's kind of cool because you can just like relax in the back and you have your blankets, and they'll let you bring your cooler in and stuff, so you can bring your own drinks and all of that stuff. It's a cool vibe. But yeah, Dave Matthews, he's so talented.
Yeah, that
their
band's
horn
awesome.
players that they have in the band, so good. Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, I saw him at West Palm, an amphitheater, probably very similar to Atlanta's. And yeah, just blankets and your own cooler,
Yeah.
and you have a fantastic time.
Oh yeah.
It's very similar to what we did last night and seeing Florida softball at JU.
Yeah, how was that?
It was wonderful. Thanks. My parents brought the chili that they had cooked. My dad had cooked on Sunday for the chili cook-off, even though there was no judging. He might still be bitter about
Chili
it.
potluck.
Right.
Cooking it off.
But either way, brought the chili, sat out there along the fence in the right field, and it was fantastic. And unfortunately for JU, Florida won 20-0. But I'm not bringing that part up. It was early in the season game.
Something was happening at Fletcher last night, 'cause I could hear him from my my front porch.
Okay.
Baseball game, I think. It just took forever in between the ding. I lost my attention. You hear it once, like you hear the crowd, and you're like, "Oh, this is great." Then you're like, "Quiet."
Where's more?
Hear a couple
Nobody else
things.
got a hit.
Maybe it was a pitcher's duel.
Yeah.
We'll say that. Or it could have been practice. We have no idea.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, Tom, back to QBR. And what I want to look at and kind of compare Trevor to the guys that are the best. So do you have the average of the last 3 or 4 years, however much research you did, it looks like 4 years. Do you have the average of his QBRs?
Yeah, so his average, well, just combined, we'll throw in 21. But He's at an 86.3 rating overall. His QBR is in the 50s, like 50, because they don't add the final one for some reason. I would say around 53. Most of them are in the 50s. The first year's a 39. You want to cut that out. So if he did the last 4 years in the QBR, he's in the mid 50s. 56, 56.9, 56.1, 58.3 was last year. That was his best.
Okay. So I don't know if this rating is not the exact same as QBR, but I put together the last 4 seasons, the quarterback rating leaders. Again, the way that these numbers are going to be a little different than that. So Lamar Jackson had the best, then followed by Brock Purdy, Jared Goff. They're well over 100. But again, I'm not comparing the 50-something from Trevor to the 100 from
the
me.
passer rating then? That must be passer
That's
rating.
my guess. Is this is passer rating? Yeah.
Yeah. So his passer rating, Trevor's was 91.0 last year.
Okay.
His highest was 95.2 in 2022, an average of 86.3 if you include the first year of 71.0.
Okay, so 91 was the passer rating. So here's all the guys the last 4 years that have had passer ratings higher than the 91. So I mentioned Lamar, Brock Purdy, Jared Goff, Drake May, Joe Burrow, Sam Darnold, Tua Tagovailoa, Jordan Love, Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts, Matthew Stafford, Jaden Daniels, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Baker Mayfield, Jimmy Garoppolo, Derek Carr, CJ Stroud, Geno Smith, Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers, and then Jackson Dart only has the 1 year. But when you look at it statistically, we know what Trevor's capable of, but when you look at it statistically, over the last 4 years, you understand why people have said that he's not generational.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
And you can factor in all of
it.
whether it's reasons, excuses, like you always say, Taylor, whether it's the injuries, whether it was an offensive line that struggled, whether it was drops, whether it was Trevor not playing well. Statistically, he has not performed to where he has been or he was expected to perform.
Yeah. And I think it's okay. Like, I don't think you don't have to have a generational quarterback to win the Super Bowl, obviously. I think that you may shift expectations, and that was just a problem anyways. They do that now in the NFL, and when you're heading into the draft of, oh, here's this generational player, here's this, and that word they need to use it more carefully anyways, because I do think that in this world we live at, what we've seen a lot in these young quarterbacks is that it takes some time, and they're going to bad teams usually. It's usually not the best situations that they're coming into. Yep. We've seen a lot of those those quarterbacks drafted in the top 5 struggle, and especially those first couple years, and it takes some time to like really kind of even it out. Now you're looking at some of these guys that are very quickly, like Drake May winning the Super Bowl in year 2, and granted he didn't have the best performance in the playoff, but you're seeing that you don't have to be this great generational quarterback to win the Super Bowl, but you are seeing some of these young
guys
at least
go to it, not win it.
Go to it, yeah. Sorry. And I feel like when you're talking about it now, you can separate this and say that's fine. You don't have to attach the generational word to Trevor. He can still be really, really good. He can still be great. He can still be talked about as one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL without attaching that word to him. And that's a long list of quarterbacks that all have done the same thing that Trevor has in recent years. And so what you need to see, and Tommy, you just said this on break, is what you need to see is the development to continue, and it's going to be you want to see the improvements continue. Yep. Because you can't just take and be like, okay, what he did in those final 5 games, that's complete product, everything's great, Trevor's going to be good for the rest of his career. That's not the case. There's still things that he has to work on. You saw it in the postseason, some of the reverted back to some of his old ways and bad habits in certain situations in that postseason. Those are the things that you want to see less and less, and that's when I feel like you'd have the confidence that he can be that top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
And that's what Liam and company, Grant Udinski, obviously being retained, I think that's what they're spending this offseason, a portion of it, I should say, doing, is figuring out what or how do we get Trevor to play at that elite level. And it not just in games where the competition was lesser, especially the defense, but in games like the Broncos game, right? Like, how do we get that Trevor week in and week out? And every quarterback has a game here or there that's not great, but we're not saying Trevor has to have over 100 QBR week in and week out. Right. But that's certainly their job to now figure out what his strengths and weaknesses are exactly, like nail it down, not just, okay, Trevor's kind of good against the blitz, not great. They have to know exactly what to start calling or keep calling in order to continue his development.
Yeah. I mean, listen, we've said it. We said it early in the year. We've said it in years past. You can win with Trevor Lawrence. There's no doubt about it. He's a good quarterback. I don't care if he's generational. Like, I don't care that he's the first pick anymore. It's over. It's like 5 years ago. All I want him to do is continue to get better and help this team win a lot of football games. What I'm trying to look, again, they're 2 different coaches. And the thing that's different is we know the ending with Doug. We don't know. We hope the ending is a long-lasting relationship with Liam forever. He never leaves. And we win a bunch of games and maybe a couple Super Bowls and all that. So we don't know that ending. But I don't know what happened. Look, in 2023, other than a couple blips here and there, Trevor was balling out until he got hurt against Cincy. And then it went south. And he played for the most part. He missed a game, but he didn't fare very well. So the injury had to be a part of it. And then you go into 2024, and he didn't start. He started off okay, but he didn't have his first, he had 119 in week 5 as a rating, then 121 in London. And then he got, Houston, I know he got hurt, but he wasn't having a good game. I'm wondering what happened. Now, we can all say, well, Doug, lost him. And maybe he did. I'm not saying he didn't. But something along the way went, from really good in 2022, really good for a good part of 2023, and then it just went crap, and then it went crap again with a few spurts of really, really good. And then you're like, well, what do you get out of Trevor? Well, he's good at times, and he's not good at times. Now, what he has gotten a ton better at, and I think we can all agree, his field awareness has gotten a lot better. Right now, he he reverted back to his QBR and rating in the Buffalo game was not good.
No.
It wasn't. I don't even want to bring it up. But it wasn't. It wasn't. No, it was. It was below average, and you can't have that in a playoff game. We need that. Prior to that, those 5-6 games, he was seeing the field. He was throwing the ball with anticipation. He was running defiantly. And he did some of that during the year as well. So can he bottle that? Can he bottle the 3 games against San Fran, Seattle, and KC, and the last 5 games? Can he bottle that up and hit the ground running in 2026? The signs say yes, because he's got Liam again. It's not new. You're not coming off an injury. You're feeling confident. You have changed your attitude a little bit. We've seen it. You're working more. We've seen it. The mental airs prior to wild card game were gone. They seem to be gone. So there's something there to be like, all right, Trev, look, here it is. Let's take this and let's make that duplicatable all the way. Not just the 17 games.
Sure.
Now, like when we hit the off-season program, let's make sure we're on point. So when you roll into camp, it's like we're on fire, baby. Like we're not gonna have great days every day, but we're gonna know everything. There's gonna be no pre-snap. You're gonna be throwing it on time. You know exactly where to go with the football. That's when you'll be like, okay, there's the different Trevor Lawrence, and not the really good, and then sometimes he's not good. You know what I mean? It's more that consistent.
the acceleration should happen quicker. Taylor, you cook. It's like you make the perfect meal, and someone says, write down the recipe. I want to make that exact meal. Well, I didn't.
I don't know how I can't
exactly
salt here
correct. So you can't exactly replicate it. That's what it felt like with the previous coaching staff. Yes, they had a not perfect, but they had a really good recipe in 2022, and part of 2023, and then
and that's what you get to the point where you just want. You're not going to say that Trevor Lawrence isn't going to have a bad game. Every quarterback, the best in the league, have the bad games. What you want is to start seeing more and more of the good games, and us not be like, oh well, he had 5 over 100. I was just looking at Josh Hines-Allen. Josh Hines-Allen had played 10 games last year where his rating was over 105. That's
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. What'd I say?
Josh Hines-Allen.
Oh, Josh Hines-Allen did not play quarterback last year. So used to saying Josh Hines-Allen.
Right.
Josh Allen had 10 games where he was over 105 last year, and his worst game was week 2. Beyond that, it was pretty much every single week he's hitting over that 105 mark. That's what you need to start trending towards.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully we can see that. And again, the signs point in that direction. You just got to see it. Now, another thing too, like they're gonna, they got a year of tape, and they got 2 years now because of what Liam did in Tampa. Can they meaning other defensive coordinators, come up with a game plan to really, control our, can we fight through the game plan? Can they show our weaknesses or attack our weaknesses?
Sean McVay and Matt Stafford have been together now for how many years? And so defenses get tape on them, and it's still hard to protect them. But I know it's
different.
Yeah, and I know what you mean, though. Yeah, but this whole conversation, and we're not wrapping it by any means now, but this whole conversation is trying to figure out what has gone wrong in the past and what can they do in order to make Trevor the best he can possibly be. That's what we're trying to put into a nice little shiny box.
And I feel like they're doing it, right? At least from what I've been told, they coach him very hard, all of them, and not just Liam, like even the assistants, even Grant. They're just making sure. And hard doesn't mean they're a hard ass on. They're just accountability, making sure, hey, your footwork's right, what you're seeing, throwing it on time, just everything, knowing the awareness. It's not like, oh, we'll work on it next week, it'll get better. It's different. That's the accountability, and
it's all the stuff away from the building.
Yeah,
well, and in the building, both. Right? Both.
But I feel like it's easy to be held accountable when you're in the building. Right? Because everyone's watching what you're doing, and whether you're with the other quarterbacks or out on the practice field.
But listen,
that extra work that they don't see.
If they send you home with a homework assignment, you come back not knowing it, they're going to be all over your ass. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's the
and I don't think that was ever Trevor's problem. I don't think that was it. I think it was more the coaching staff teaching him what he needed to do away from, being on the practice field with the playbook. And also some of that situational awareness, which you don't get unless you watch football live. Yeah. Like, to me, you cannot, we can talk data all we want, but unless you actually are watching things with that eye test and understanding what to do in certain moments of football, that you have to watch the other NFL games live or watch college football live on Saturdays. All right, more cute quarterback conversation. I was going to say cute quarterback conversation. That's not at all what we're talking about. Just Valentine's Day, maybe on Saturday. Yeah, that's fine. Hair. But cute daughter. That's the kicker. There was Shay. More quarterback conversation to do. Keep it right here. Helmets and Heels. 1010X on 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels, provided by Green Law Group. Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
Are you ready for another historic season at the bank? It's time to lock in your seats for 2026 by placing your deposit now. Next season will be played at Everbank Stadium, but seating capacity is limited due to in-bowl renovations, and spots are going fast. Don't miss out on your chance to see the season's biggest matchups and highlight real moments by placing your deposit at jaguars.com/tickets or by calling 904-633-2000. Go Jags!
The Players' Championship returns to TPC Sawgrass March 10th through 15th. Experience golf's most iconic stage with enhanced food and beverage offerings, interactive fan attractions, and an atmosphere built for every type of fan. See the best players in the world, including world number 1 Scotty Scheffler, 2025 champion Rory McIlroy, and fan favorite Brooks Koepka take on the legendary Stadium Course and the famous Island Green. Tickets available at theplayers.com.
Living on Amelia Island, having fun in Fernandina Beach? No matter what brings you to the fun, cozy town, make sure you check out the tap room at Mokama Beer Company. With a full flight of craft creations, from the Cosmico IPA to the Motor, the perfect Pilsners and Lagers, matching memories and some Mokama magic is what it's all about. Mokama Beer Company in Fernandina Beach, near the big water where the sun is born. And look for more Mokama craft at your local Total Wine or ABC Liquors.
Farah and Farah is thrilled to offer our annual Empowering Greatness Scholarship. 5 Florida high school seniors will receive 2 years' worth of tuition to a Florida college, university, or trade school. Apply now. Jacksonville.
Transmission troubles? I'm Robin Sidbury, owner of Action Transmission Specialist on Merrill Road. So come in and see how we can help solve your transmission troubles. We service all makes and models. Remember, get traction. Call Action at 744-0755.
Skilled trade jobs are booming. You can begin a high-pay, high-demand career right now through the Northeast Florida Builders Association. Their apprenticeship program provides paid training in some of the most highly sought-after skilled trades. Work full-time in carpentry, electrical, HVAC, or plumbing, plus earn a 10% raise every year. And the classes, 100% tuition-free. Apply online starting March 10th and start your new career now at NEFBAapprenticeship.org.
Are you in the doghouse or maybe have a special occasion soon? It's funny how Kuhn Flowers can take care of any situation. Max Fink here, and anytime I've needed to make her happy, I rely on Kuhn Flowers to make that happiness happen. There's only one, KuhnFlowers.com.
Want a one-stop shop when it comes to commercial or residential construction? Then pick Preferred Builders. They should be high on your list. Over 70 years of construction experience combined with exceptional product and service warranties. They've got a team ready to tackle any size project. In fact, they've built their business in Duval by offering superior work at reasonable prices, and reputation over time means something. Honest and knowledgeable, reliable and responsive. Be sure and put Preferred Builders into your game plan for your next construction project. That's Preferred Builders.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
How do you stay humble when you're America's #1 wiper blade? That's what we're currently dealing with at Rain-X. Is it even possible to humble brag when you bully Mother Nature like we do? Do we sound too conceited if we keep repeating how Rain-X is the #1 brand of wiper blades in America? No. We'll take a lesson from our wipers and just keep doing our job with humility. As America's #1 wiper blade, Rain-X. Outsmart the elements.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you, continuing our quarterback conversation with one Trevor Lawrence at the center of it, of course, because he is your franchise quarterback and he has been given a lot of money to be said franchise quarterback. And I think if you're listening to our conversation and thinking that we're sounding negative, I don't think that's our intention. I think our intention is to try and figure out how things went awry in the past and how this staff can make sure that doesn't happen in the future. And that glimpse that we saw, not just glimpse, that second half of the year where Trevor looked like he had finally kind of figured out a lot of things, that's the exciting part moving into 2026. And yes, as I said yesterday, now he has an offseason with Jacoby Myers. Now he has an offseason with them fully understanding what Parker Washington can do, and then fitting Brian Thomas Jr. into all of that mix as well. Maybe even Travis Hunter playing wide receiver. That certainly won't surprise me if we see that in training camp as well. Britton Strange obviously returning again, and then maybe some pieces behind him might shift a little bit. Obviously, the starting running back part, we don't know exactly how that's going to look, but potentially the offensive line could have the same starting five as not the very last week, obviously against the Bills because Cole Van Lannon was hurt, but having a lot of consistency on the offensive line. All that is fantastic for a quarterback going into year 2 with Liam Cohen.
Yeah. And listen, as far as, it's not negative. It's called just critiquing and looking. How do you think the Boston audience is taking Drake May's performance? And then the shoulder, they're like, you know what? Screw the shoulder. The shoulder, that did nothing. That guy's a wimp. He was
and same with Will Campbell. We don't care about.
They're ripping the heck out of that kid. And guess what? He led the league in rating in the regular season. Drake May did. Yeah. So again, you keep it in perspective. I think Trevor. Look, the arrow's pointing up, and you just got to see it. People. It's funny because you look at these stats, and we've said this before. The people that think he's done none wrong and is phenomenal are wrong. The people that think he's terrible are wrong too. Yeah. It's in the middle. We just want it more, we want like above average. Yeah. Get into that very good. I don't care if he's elite. I mean, I'd love to see him up near the top, with the other guys as far as rating and how they do that and QBR and all that. But at the end of the day, just protect the football and lead your team to victory. And he did that. And that's one thing Trevor also did this year. He put his team on his back and brought them back to leads multiple times. Mm-hmm. And let's face it, I mean, this past year, and I know the defensive guys get mad when I say it, but you're the culprit. You're the culprit that it ended up the way it ended up because you actually should have won probably a couple more games, at least one. You let too many teams back in. You never learned how to put them away. And your quarterback, he answered the bell. I mean, now he wasn't great against Buffalo, but even with his negative plays, he made enough positive plays where if the defense would have played better, we would have won that game. So this isn't, Trevor this, Trevor. No, I mean, we're hoping that he takes this and continues skyward, where we know that, like, he can carry the team throughout the entire season. It's a tough job to do. There's no doubt about it, especially at the end when you're beat up. You don't think Josh Allen was hurting against us in the wild card? But what did he do?
Everything was hurting on Josh Allen probably.
He still took over.
Yeah, that Foye hit in the end zone. Yeah, for a point of reference, Sam Darnold this postseason, his 3 QBR ratings were 63, 82, and 53. Yeah. 53 against New England. So again, you don't have to have the stats that are super sexy. You just have to play pretty good football and take care of the football, which that's what the Seahawks did in the postseason.
I was just going to say that. Could you imagine
in the postseason? That's what the Patriots did in the regular season.
Right, and the Seahawks were able to do it when it mattered.
Could you imagine if Darnold didn't? Like if he turned the ball over like he did during the regular season, they wouldn't have won that.
It's a much closer game. I don't know who wins. At that point, it might have been 6-6.
I don't know. I mean, it's all hypothetical. I don't know if Seattle gets past the first round if Darnold turned the ball over the way that. Because, you talk about the game against the Rams. If he turns the ball over probably one time, Seattle's losing that game. And
the first game was against the 49ers, and they destroyed them regardless. Yeah, but definitely the Rams. Definitely the Rams.
Yeah, the Rams are right there. There's no doubt. If he turned the ball over, they would have taken advantage of that.
But it's so funny how we kind of box quarterbacks into different categories automatically. Like Sam Darnold, he just won a Super Bowl. Yeah, he's really not that good. He's got a great defense, right? Like there's certain quarterbacks that we say year in and year out are excellent and elite, and then everybody else will find flaws in them. And that's honestly right now, that's where Trevor is. There's the Matt Stafford, Josh Allen, I don't even know if some people right now would put Lamar Jackson in the very elite. I probably still would, but certainly the Ravens had a rough season. He was injured. Joe Burrow.
He missed most of the year.
Yeah. Take Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. They are elite players, but they haven't won a Super Bowl.
Right.
Yeah.
So
And they may never.
And I'm not saying that Darnold's better than them. I'm not saying that at all, but we call them elite, yet they have 0 Super Bowl wins.
Right. Patrick Mahomes is in that category, obviously.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, though, how are they judged?
Super Bowls.
Right.
Jalen Hurts now,
Wins Super Bowls.
nobody would say he was elite, but he has a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah.
I'd say he's somewhat elite. He's top whatever. I don't think he's top 5, but he's top.
And that's what, when I say elite in quarterbacking, I think
top 3.
the
Top
guys
three.
you would 1,000%. Yeah.
Burrow.
And it's a different conversation of which quarterbacks you would start a franchise with, because Stafford obviously is older at this point in time. But if you're talking about for just a year, look at what he did this year after missing the preseason. All right, more to discuss on the other side. We'll do a little Lawrence Lane. Keep it right here. Helmets and Heels, 10 to Nix on 92.5 FM.
Remember the days of Baselli, Brunell, Jimmy, and Keenan?
Mark Brunell with a masterful run.
Jaguars pride forever. 1010XL.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm dedicated to helping businesses manage risk, maximize opportunities, and move their company forward. Jimerson Burr attorneys are business-oriented lawyers, equally comfortable as community leaders, private transaction counselors, or courtroom advocates. If you have a legal issue of any kind affecting your business, contact the firm at 389-0050 or jimersonfirm.com.
Helmets and Heels.
Bought for you by Green Law Group on 1010XL.
Are you ready to reclaim your backyard? Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, Surfside Pools is the trusted name for expert pool design. Family owned and operated, they offer pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools transform your backyard into the oasis that you crave. Are you ready to float happy? Visit surfsidepools.net or call 246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, where luxury meets leisure.
License number CPC 044080.
This State in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On February 11th, 1990, James Buster Douglas knocked out Mike Tyson in the 10th round to win the World Heavyweight Boxing title.
Pickin here. See clearly with the eye associates and trusted optometrists Zachary Boskool and Alice LaFlamme. From comprehensive eye exams, dry eye care, glaucoma management, diabetic eye care, and more, Dr. Boskool and Dr. LaFlamme are dedicated to protecting your vision. Immediate availability at all 5 Jacksonville locations. Schedule today with Dr. Boskool and Dr. LaFlamme by calling the Eye Associates, formerly Bowden Eye Associates, Schneider Eye and Wellness Center, and Janet Betchkel, MD at 296-0098.
Finding the right plumber to reline your cast iron pipes doesn't have to be a stressful experience. When you hire Superior Plumbing and Pipelining, you can rest assured you're getting the best in the industry. At Superior Plumbing and Pipelining, we're so confident in our work that we encourage you to get multiple estimates. Look at each company's reviews and check the scope of their pipelining work to make sure it's what you're expecting. But at the end of the day, make the superior choice. Superior Plumbing and Pipelining. Request a free estimate at superiorplumbingjacks.com.
For nearly 60 years, Green Acres Sporting Goods at the corner of Normandy and Hammond Boulevard has been Jacksonville's trusted name for the outdoors. From archery to hunting and fishing and more, their expert staff helps you get it right the first time. Right now, stop in and try the newest bows by Hoyt and Matthews and get dialed in before spring. Gear up today at greenacresporting.com.
Hey, it's Taylor. Valentine's Day is quickly approaching. Don't fall into the same routine of last-minute grocery store runs, picked-over flowers, and forgettable chocolates. Make a new play this year with a gift from Peterbrook Chocolatier. Choose from beautifully crafted artisan chocolates or a gift basket filled with the perfect mix of sweet, salty, crunchy, and creamy treats. With 15 North Florida locations, you likely drove past one today. Up your game this Valentine's Day with a gift that truly impresses. Find your closest location at peterbrook.com. That's peterbrook.com.
Now here is
is my love. Newsflash, gang. Valentine's Day is coming, so guys, you got to get with the program. And let's think outside the candy box. It's the Big Orange Chorus. They're back. You know the deal. The guys come out. They serenade your girl. 2 songs, a rose, a large Hershey's kiss, a greeting card, a photo with the group. All you got to do is call 355-SING or go to BigOrangeChorus.com. That's BigOrangeChorus.com. Virtual Valentine's also available. But order today at BigOrangeChorus.com.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. If you've got fogged up windows, let me help. We'll replace them with clear, insulated units that brighten up your home. People say we're fast, friendly, and reliable. Just check out our Google reviews. Call me today. Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Ticket here for Action Garage Door. Nothing more frustrating than your garage door misfiring. When it does, I call Action Garage Door. They take action. Jeff and Art and crew, Jacksonville folks, not some big out-of-town chain. Something goes wrong with your garage door, take action. Check them out. Garage Door 911. GarageDoor911.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks with you. Something tells me, I could be wrong, but this artist, Chris Stapleton, he was probably a fan of the Doors, don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
I would think that fits in his love of guitar and things like that. Well, right now we've got a pair of tickets to go see a tribute to the Doors live at the Thrasher Horn Center this Saturday, aka Valentine's Day.
Nice.
So if your lady or your beau is into the Doors, win the pair of tickets right now. Call number 3-641-1010. Call number 3-641-1010, and you are going to see a tribute to the Doors.
It's just a little low-grade acid, honey. Remember that? That was great. That was Val Kilmer when he played Jim Morrison. I love the Doors. They were
I
great.
do too.
He was 27 when he died.
It's the 27 Club, right?
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's
Jimi
wild.
Hendrix
Yeah.
and Janis Joplin, and the list goes on and on.
Yeah, right.
Which
Was that Kurt? Was Cobain?
I think Cobain was 27. Yeah. Talk about
Unbelievable. Yeah,
Amy
that's-
Winehouse.
young,
Amy
young.
Amy
Yeah,
Winehouse. I think she was 27 too.
Yeah, unbelievable. But
I
yeah,
remember
of course.
getting to be older than that. I was like, all right, I made it.
made
Not
it.
that I was ever
The
into the hard
celebrity.
drugs that they were or a celebrity. Yeah, valid. Yeah, Amy Winehouse, Kurt Cobain, Jim Morrison, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix. Brian Jones, was that the Monkees?
I don't. Oh, that sounds
Is that
maybe
the Monkees?
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's
or
see.
the Beach Boys. Did any of them die early?
It says the Rolling Stones, so
Oh,
I guess not the Monkees. And then Robert Johnson, but he doesn't look like he's 27 in that, so I think that's incorrect. Well, actually, he may be 27, but the picture is from like the early 1900s. So when I say that, but yeah, interesting stuff there. And congratulations
Yeah,
to
the
our
phone
winner.
lines lit up for that
Of
one.
course they did.
Yeah.
All right, time now for Lauren's Lane.
Now, Lauren's Lane. Opened up by Closets by Design. Imagine your home totally organized.
RJ Saunders in there multitasking
super
is what that is called. All right. Ryan O'Halloran posted this earlier today. And then, of course, I went and looked at the NFL Combine invites, but he posted there are 8 Gators. There's actually 9, but there's one of the names that I'd never heard of. He was the backup punter. So I can understand why when Ryan scanned the
It
list,
was
it
like
looked
Gums
like 8.
something.
No, George Gums, I knew he was
okay.
defensive lineman, but punter Tommy Doman.
Oh.
I had honestly never heard of him. Michael Sturdivant, Austin Barber, Jake Slaughter, Caleb Banks, George Gums, Tyreek Sapp, Devin Moore, Trey Smack, the kicker, and then that punter. So 9 Gators invited, 1 Seminole in defensive lineman Daryl Jackson Jr. for Florida State.
Wow.
Yep. And then 9 Canes and 9 Bulldogs. So 9 for those trio, or for that trio, and then 1 for Florida State. And so what came into Lauren's Lane is obviously that is a reflection of the disappointing football that you've seen when it comes to Tallahassee.
Yeah.
Florida, honestly, it's surprising that Florida
They have
has
that
as
many,
many
yeah.
because obviously also disappointing football. But for things to change next year and every year after, Mike Norvell and his group need to have way more than 1 player.
Yeah,
invited.
and it's crazy too thinking about your 2 years off of having the
Right.
NFL record. It was like 13 that they had going that got drafted
Yeah.
that were going to get drafted. I don't remember, and I think it was even higher of who was even just invited to the combine. So that's a quick drop off, and you've got to figure that out very quickly. I don't
Yeah.
know how much longer he can keep that job.
What have you done for me lately?
Yeah.
You know, it seems like forever ago they were undefeated and they got kicked out of the tournament.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just it seems like it wasn't that long ago, like 3 seasons ago, right?
Mhm.
Two, and then it was
Too bad.
yeah.
And that one, yeah.
That just seems like, man, and that's true. Like you that that is really terrible. I mean, just having one going to the combine from Florida State.
He's
really
like,
terrible.
I've got this.
I'm trying to think of the right word. It's got to be worse than terrible. But I mean, Miami's got 9.
Pathetic?
You guys got 8.
We have 9. Miami has 9, and Georgia has 9. Yeah,
You have 1.
Thanks to punter Tommy Doman. He's the
Despicable
ninth one.
is the word I was looking for.
Yeah, no, I understand. And it's hard to your point, Taylor, about keeping his job, it's hard to keep a guy in that role if the fans have lost their faith in the coach. And we saw that with Willie Taggart, the previous coach. And he got fired, obviously, into his middle of his 3rd season. And then now with Mike Norvell, started off rough, then got a lot better. But it was all because of Jordan Travis, is what obviously now people believe. And so, at the end of the day, if your brand new or renovated stadium, I should say, with Doak Campbell is not anywhere near packed, that's when athletic directors have to bite the bullet. But right now, FSU has like $430 something or $457 million in debt. Like over $400 million in debt. How do you fire a guy with that massive buyout if you already are sitting on that much debt?
You got Charlie Woods, though, committed.
That's right.
To Florida State.
Tiger Woods' son.
Yeah.
Maybe that brings some money.
Well, I mean, look, Norvell,
Tiger has money.
Norvell missed twice on the QB, so he missed on other guys too.
And
but he definitely missed on the QB. So.
What faith do you have now that there's no Gus Malzahn to lead Ashton Daniels to success?
Like 0. I mean, I don't have much at all. I don't know. I don't even know what to expect now.
Yeah, it's to be a null right now.
It's really depressing, honestly, as a football fan. Like having Florida have gone through it not that long ago. Like when you don't have hope and faith in your head coach, and then you don't even look forward to football season. Yeah, and that's terrible because there's only that's really terrible and despicable and pathetic because there's only 12 of those things.
Yeah, and that's what it is because with the Seminoles, it almost feels like at this point you don't see the end to it. Like when the Gators, it got to the point where it was like, okay, Billy Napier's going to be fired. It's just a matter of when. They don't have that right now because of this money that they owe him, and they kind of feel trapped. And that's even worse. It's not like, okay, well, if it's bad this season or if he doesn't, he'll not make it through this season. There's years where you go into that. I remember that was a conversation with Hugh Freeze. Like, does Hugh Freeze get, make it through the season? Ryan Day, but right before they won the Natty. All these conversations about that, and that you at least see a little glimmer of hope or light if you have that. And that's not happening right now for Florida State. And that
creates apathy.
Yes.
You got to think,
there's nothing
though,
worse than
this
apathy.
is it. Like, even though they'll still have a buyout and it'll probably be
Make or
large,
break
it's time to just cut your losses and start over.
Like
what else are you going to do?
And then watch them start off to like a 3-0 start. And then we're having a different conversation. Because we talked about
we
it.
beat Alabama last year.
Right. We talked about it before that game. Remember, Taylor, I was like, what if Florida State beats Alabama since no one was giving them a chance?
Right.
And then obviously, it happened. It's just the rest of the season didn't go like that. All right, back to Trevor Lawrence on the other side. Keep it right here. Helmets and Heels, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
It's the Super Bowl of stock car racing.
The most anticipated moment in racing.
The Daytona 500. NASCAR is revved up by the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234 on Jacksonville's NASCAR station, 1010XL.
Like many football fans in Jacksonville, I love defense. I am attorney Lee Lockett, and I'm here to tell you that defense in the courtroom is important as well. That's because penalties for DUI are much more serious than penalties on the gridiron. If you or someone you know is facing a DUI, call us for a free case analysis now. Know before you blow 858-9818. Put my more than 20 years of experience to work for you. Office is Jacksonville, serving all surrounding counties. Call 858-9818 or go to knowbeforeyoublow.com.
The month for love is a perfect time to get your home organized. Hey, this is Lauren Brooks, and I love our closets from Closets by Design. They create custom storage systems designed around how you actually live. From closets and garages to entertainment centers, laundry rooms, and storage for any space and budget. With their new showroom now open, they have extended the offer of 40% off plus an extra 15% off, free installation, and 18-month special financing. Schedule your free consultation. Call 904-878-9393 or visit them online, closetsbydesign.com.
Helmets and Heels.
Backed by Green Law Group on 1010XL.
Make Capital Glass and Shower Doors your premier choice for top quality glass solutions. With over 40 years of expertise, their team specializes in commercial and residential projects. From elegant shower doors to modern frameless enclosures, they've got you covered. But that's not all. They also offer glass railing systems, glass wine cabinets, and much more. For unmatched quality and service, choose Capital Glass and Shower Doors. Your vision, their expertise. Visit online at capcoglass.com.
If you've run out of ideas for Valentine's Day, see what's on 1010XL's gift list from
Beard's Diamonds,
Wicca Candle Bar,
Kuhn Flowers,
and Peter Brook Chocolatier
at 1010XL.com.
Happy Valentine's Day.
The toughest bulls, the bravest riders. For 8 seconds, it's all on the line. Glory or nothing. These are cowboys who face down danger, defy the odds, and push themselves beyond limits most wouldn't dare. This is their world, where legends are made on the backs of ranked bulls. It's bull time, Jacksonville. PBR Bucks into ViStar Memorial Arena February 20th and 21st. Get your tickets now at pbr.com/tickets.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hacker here. You know, people think Awaken 180 called me or asked me to go on the program. They didn't. Truth be told, I asked them. Didn't even take a talent fee. I didn't want to check. I wanted my weight gone. I was done with waking up tired and lethargic. I was done. And let's be honest, I wasn't failing diets. Diets were failing me. I didn't need any hype or motivation. I needed instructions. The Awaken 180 program was like finally stopping the backyard play calling and having a coach in your ear saying, run this, now trust it. Once my brain got out of the way, everything changed. No overthinking, no negotiating, no self-sabotage. The weight came off fast every single week. Like clockwork. The biggest surprise wasn't the scale. It was the relief. I felt like I finally stopped fighting myself. That's when Awaken 180 took over. So if you're waiting to feel ready, don't. I wasn't either. That's why this worked. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Checkmate. I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, company mascot at your service.
There are 2 important steps to installing the perfect garage floor. The 2-stage coating application? Sure. But nothing is more important than preparing the floor. Our team uses diamond grinding machines to grind your floors to a smooth, level finish. Only then can we...
Hold on! You grind garage floors with perfectly lovely diamonds?
No, Chester. We grind floors to perfection using the very best ugly diamonds. Too ugly for jewelry, but perfect for the grinding pads we use to prep the surface.
Perfect preparation and application. Now that's a perfect marriage.
Ugly diamonds?
Check. Perfect preparation?
Check. Smooth, gorgeous, gleaming floors that really catch your eye? Checkmate! Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate. Visit checkmatecoatings.com.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update, brought to you by Awaken 180. Tonight, the Gators will take on the Georgia Bulldogs on the road for a 7 o'clock tip-off, this time airing on 1010XL 92.5 FM. The 14th ranked Gators move to the top of the SEC rankings following their 19-point victory over the Texas A&M Aggies on Saturday night, their 3rd straight conference victory. It's 72 degrees at 3:01. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focus, fueled, fearless, Farah.
I love the air piano for Riders on the Storm.
Lately.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I just hope people can see it on the live stream. I think it might be blocked by the computer.
Oh, sorry. My
These-
hands are shy.
Taylor Dalton, McManus, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. I'm going to leave that one alone. Let's get back into Trevor Lawrence and some more stats when it comes to his 2025 performance and certainly years past as well. We've been taking a look at all of it. But Taylor, you dug into kind of more of I was about to say play-by-play, but more of the these situational things that happened.
Yeah, so as I was mentioning at the top of this show, Sumer Sports is somewhere, and they break down so many things. You can go into red zone, when the quarterback's blitzed, when they're pressured. You can go into early downs, late downs. You can go into versus man versus zone. Like, they break down everything to a T, and it's kind of cool to go in there. So if you want to go check it out, and just you can compare Trevor to all of the other quarterbacks in the NFL and each of these situational circumstances, or just total career, all of those things. So it's really cool. So I broke down the 3: red zone, when he's blitzed, and when he's pressured, because I just wanted to see those 3 things. The red zone obviously is something that we had talked a lot about last year to this year, of this
last year was bad.
Yeah, of needing some massive improvement when it came to that area. And so I will say, again, the 2022 and 2025 season are very close and similar when it comes to almost every single number. That EPA the total EPA, the EPA pass, the rush EPA, the scramble percentage, sack percentage, success percentage, all of those things are very similar. The middle 2 years, 2023 and 2024, were not good in the red zone. Those 2 years, they struggled a lot. So when you look at that number, starting with this year, I'll look at that. So they have his total EPA it's a negative 3.01. It was 18th in the NFL for that red zone percentage, and it was the same in 2022. He was also 18th in there. Okay. The last 2 years, though, this is how drastically. In 2023, it was a negative 15.97 was his total EPA in the red zone, and they break it down. They give you his completion percentage in the red zone this year was 57.95. Last year was only 44%. The year before was only 37%, and then back in 2022 was 41%. So that number you're close to 50% in the red zone. You want that to continue to prove, but you're trending in the right direction in that area. The one thing that kind of stuck out, the average depth of target. 2022, 3 and 4, he was a little above 7. It was 7.05, 7.19, 7.5. This year in the red zone, his average depth of target was only 4.95. So interesting of just like schematically some of the things they were doing in the red zone that they hadn't done previously. And it'd be interesting to kind of go back and watch like just the red zone plays to see, exactly what was going on. His completion percentage was also the highest of all 4 years this year in the red zone. That was 57.95%, 44 last year, which I had mentioned that. So again, you're trending in the right direction in that. When you look at the time to throw, stayed pretty similar around. He hovers right around 2.6 seconds time to throw in the red zone. But when you look at 2022, he had 20 passing touchdowns and 3 picks in the red zone. This year, he had 23 touchdowns and 4 picks in the red zone. The last year, he only had 9 red zone touchdowns. And so those are some of the things that start to calculate, like just being able to convert some of those third downs and the short distance stuff to get to actually score in the red zone and not count on. I felt like we saw a lot of last year. It felt like a lot of like BT deep down the field. So you weren't technically in that red zone. So you were scoring touchdowns, but you weren't always like in the red zone when scoring. So rushing yards, 85 yards this year and 9 rushing touchdowns in the red zone. He only had 11 rushing yards last year in the red zone, which seems kind of crazy, but we were seeing a lot of those more like short yardage. He just didn't use his legs. So to me, that's some of the things that I'm seeing when you look at the red zone numbers that have improved. The completion percentage got better. The legs got a lot better. You're using the legs in general. His scramble percentage was massively higher. He went from 3.3 in 22 to 5.8 in 23. And then this year he was at, where did it go? 10.89 scramble percentage. So definitely moving around and kind of creating things on his own once he got in there. The sack percentage in the red zone is way down. His sack percentage for the season is higher than all 4 other years, but his sack percentage in the red zone is the lowest that he's had in the 4 years. So being, not getting rid of the ball when you need to in the red zone, not taking those bad sacks, those are all things we saw get better in the red zone this year. And I think that's something that you definitely have to feel is trending in the right direction.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, we all know when you get convert in the red zone, it just does wonders for your offense and for your team. I think him running, I mean, look, Liam said it best. He's such a weapon when he runs. I mean, he's fast. He called him a high 4.5, 4.6 guy. I'm sure he's in that range. He's physical. He's big. He's a pain in the butt to deal with out that open field, and you don't want to deal with it. So I think that helped a lot. Again, it's funny, even during the years like 2022, 2023, 2024, doing the show with Grammage, our friend Grammage, we'd always say, like, man, he should just run more. When he runs more, he gets more into the flow. You can just see, we'd call it Trevor ball. Like, just make it a little bit like Sandlot. It's okay. Like, you're a total weapon with your legs. And look, I always felt like, and it goes, you can see with other running quarterbacks in the league, they take off and run for a first down. It's like, man, you just stole a base. You're feeling great, let's go. And then I'm going to make a pass, and I'm in the groove, and then I'm going to run around a little bit. I'm going to, buy some time. I'm feeling confident, feeling good in my arm. I'll take off and run if I have to. Now they really give them something to deal with. You know what I mean? Those types of things. And I think he'll do that more early on, because that is being drilled into his head. Hey, man, you're a weapon. Just don't forget. Like, let it rip. It wasn't just ripping the football. It was let it go, man. You're a weapon. Your arm, your legs. Bring them together, find some rhythm, find some groove, and it'll happen for you. And it showed.
And I wonder how much of that, Tom, though, was because of, and PTSD might be too strong, because I hate to use that, just throw that term around, because military, I feel like they really have PTSD, and the rest of us use that term, and probably more than we should. But you know what I'm saying when I use it is, because he was so banged up multiple times in 2023 and then 2024, I feel like he was a little bit gun shy to run because of what had happened. Like, he had gotten hurt multiple times, and then not always running the football. Sometimes it was the offensive line not protecting him. But I wonder if that's why, again, second half of the season, you started to see him play a little bit more free.
Well, it's running and running defiantly are two different things. I go back to the hit on that Al Shahir put on him. That wasn't a defiant run. He was almost like, please don't hit me.
Because he was already hurt.
Yeah. Well, yeah, maybe so. Yeah. But this, I think, and you got to be healthy, obviously, or be Josh Allen. You defiantly run, and there's a difference, and you could tell the difference in him even throughout the year of 2025. In Trevor taking off, there were some games you're like, he's not right. He's running almost like on eggshells. It feels like, and then there are other games like, man, he's just got the shoulders
very intentional
down. Very, very intentional type running. So
it's also crazy because he was like that he was getting hit more technically this year than we've seen him get hit, and so it also makes you feel comfortable that that's gone. Like, okay, you were getting hit. It's not like all of a sudden he went down and was only getting sacked 20 times this year. He got sacked 41 times. It was his highest sack percentage, and it's not including 2021, but in between those last 4 years. And so when you look at that, it's also like, okay, you feel like he really did break that, because there were moments at the beginning of 2024 where I was like, he's running away from nothing. Like, he would spin out of like phantom pressures, and it just looked rough. And so I'm glad they were able to break some of that. For reference of 2024, by the way, if you want to see how bad the offense was in general, only 42 plays in the red zone all season long in 2024, 113 this last year. So you also were able to get down the field and get into position to actually score a lot more this year than you were able to in 2024.
And I think that when you run in that intentional type way, you're delivering more than receiving the hits. And you're also, I think what he's learning to not take them full on, like make him move at the end and use your length, use that 6'6" frame to get that extra yardage or get that first down. So there's you can see that difference in the way he takes off.
And it's also not just Trevor's legs. It's also the run game in totality, right? Like the better the team's running it, the more space Trevor's going to have and things like that. And that's where, if we looked at the run game numbers from last year,
not good.
Good early, though. Good early, and then it switched, right?
Oh, yeah.
Good early.
In 24,
I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's funny. When Tom says last year, he's talking about 2025. When we say last year, we're talking about 2024. We say this year, we're 2025. But either way, it's better to use the year about whichever season year you're talking about anyway. But in 2024, the run game was pretty much non-existent. And so your quarterback's also not, A, he's scared to run, I thought from watching it, and B, that's just, they weren't blocking the run whatsoever, whether it was a running back or Trevor. All right, more Jaguars conversation and NFL. Keep it right here. Helmets and Heels, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Proud to live in Jacksonville.
This is where we live.
Proud to be Jacksonville Sports Radio. We are 1010XL.
No one has time to get hurt. Lost wages, injuries that not only hurt but hinder our success. If you're in this position due to the negligence of another, you deserve to be paid. Hey, this is Tom McManus. Injuries suck, so check out Morgan & Morgan. They're the largest personal injury law firm in the country. 100 offices, over 1,000 lawyers with enough firepower to handle any and all personal injury cases. And they make filing a claim easy, and they don't get paid unless you do. Morgan & Morgan, for the people. Visit forthepeople.com or hit Pound Law from your cell. Pound Law, that's all.
Helmets and Heels from the Greenlaw Group Studios.
It's free window February with Renewal by Andersen. Right now, when you buy 4 replacement windows, you get the 5th for free. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 1 year. This offer expires February 28th. Renewal by Andersen, proud partner of the Florida Gators. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
Every time your team makes a move,
This kid could be the game breaker we're looking for.
1010XL will break it down.
We're professionals. We have a job to do, a season to plan.
Follow the road to the regular season with AA Automotive and 1010XL.
When it's game time, make feeding the crowd easy. Chicken Salad Chick serves fresh Southern-style chicken salad, flavorful sides, and crowd-favorite catering trays. Order ahead at chickcatering.com or visit one of 4 area locations today.
San Jose Collision in Mandarin is proud to be an I-CARD Gold Class collision repair facility. That means they meet the industry's highest training standards. Experience the difference at San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
Hey, Tommy Mack here. When it comes to glass, you don't want average. You want flawless. Duval Glass and Mirror is absolutely all about being flawless. They've been helping Jacksonville homes and businesses for over 35 years. Frameless showers that wow. Mirrors cut exactly to your style. Fogged or broken glass replaced. Decorative tabletops, windows replaced or repaired to stand up to those Florida storms. All backed by a 100% guarantee. Visit DuvalGlass.com for your free quote today. There's only one name for Glass and Mirror around here, and it's Duval.
What race car driver won 27 times in one season?
When your homeowner's insurance policy is up for renewal, it's a good idea to shop around to find a better plan. Southern Oak Insurance for over 20 years provides Floridians a clear option. SouthernOak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Richard Petty, the King, won 200 times in his career, including 27 times in 1967.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood Jewelers. Clayton, you spend a lot of time talking about diamonds, but what about some of the colored stones we see?
Frank, when you talk about colored stones, there are literally hundreds of varieties and species in the gem kingdom. As certified gemologists, we're trained gemologically on the identification of each of these and can separate the man-made synthetics and imitations from the real thing. But at Underwoods, we can go to the next step. At Underwoods, we're active buyers of loose-colored stones in the world markets, so we have an understanding of the values of colored stones as they relate back to the various qualities. In fact, just like diamonds, we buy most of our colored stones loose, then create the pieces of jewelry to hold the gems. You can be assured not only of the authenticity and quality of our colored stone jewelry, but also of the value. So if you're in the market for a fine quality emerald, sapphire, ruby, aquamarine, amethyst, citrine, tourmaline, peridot, or any other gemstone, come by and see us at Underwoods.
Did you know that an annual coating inspection can extend the life of your building by years? Catching early signs like hairline cracks, fading, and moisture intrusion helps prevent costly repairs down the road and keeps your property looking its best. Our team at Performance Painting helps you stay ahead of maintenance with professional inspections and long-lasting coating solutions. Protect your building, protect your budget. Go to performance-painting.com to schedule a free inspection. Performance Painting, repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
Leadership looks different on every woman, and every story deserves the spotlight. I'm Liz Gruby, the events director from the Jacksonville Business Journal. I would love for you to join us, PNC Bank, and our 2026 Women of Influence honorees for an unforgettable celebration honoring the women shaping our business community, opening doors, and lifting others along the way. Women of Influence, because powerful leadership deserves to be celebrated. Get your tickets now at jbjevents.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Start a fire. For the memories in the flames, it's behind us.
Tom McManus, Taylor Dahl, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you as we scoot through a Wednesday afternoon. When it comes to the Jacksonville Jaguars, I do feel like there's way more optimism, obviously, than pessimism. We talked so much yesterday about this defense and how it's really not that far off the Seahawks. It's certainly not nearly as good as the Seahawks, or it wasn't this past year. Obviously, they have to address some things going into this year. But when you talk about the Jaguars' offense, if we were to compare that to the Seahawks' offense, I feel like outside of Jackson Smith and Jigba and then Kenneth Walker, Travis Etienne, who knows what teams they'll be playing on next year. But outside of JSN, I don't know that we would automatically take any other Seahawks players. Maybe left tackle Charles Cross over a Cole Van Linden. But overall, I feel like the Jaguars' offense is almost just as good, if not potentially better than the Seahawks offense.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think it's pretty good one-on-one. I mean, you would if Charbonnet's healthy, you'd probably give them the running back room, right? But a good one-on-one with Kenneth Walker III and Etienne Jr. The quarterback, you'd definitely take Trevor, right? Wouldn't you? I think I would.
I would.
The O-line, look, you can make a case for Zabel and Cross, but, our O-line wasn't the problem last year.
Yeah.
Receivers, Jackson would, he's number one over everybody. But Coop and Parker probably cross each other out.
I'd probably take Parker Washington over Cooper Kupp at this stage.
This stage, I would too. That's fair. Then you got Jacoby, and Brian Thomas. We'll see about that. So yeah, I think they're pretty good one-on-one if you match them up personnel to personnel. It'd be great if that's all you had to do to win games.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome. But I think from a personnel standpoint, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, it does feel closer, and it does. I think the good thing about the Jags too is there's a lot of young, and that helps you all. It makes you steer towards that because you're like, okay, you have when you talk about a Parker Washington, and when you talk about even a Jacoby Myers and a Brian Thomas Jr., you're talking about a lot of young guys, a Brenton Strange. All those guys are. I'd say you'd probably take the running back room from Seattle. I think you would take the offensive line from Seattle. They allowed like 10 less sacks this season.
They did.
And Sam doesn't move. I mean, he can. We saw in the postseason he can, but he doesn't move quite like Trevor does. And so I think you would probably overall take the line just because you don't. I mean, Trevor was still sacked 41 times. So you're still looking at like some of those advantages in that sack percentage. But outside of that, I think weapons wise, if you were just to say, hey, would you take the pass catchers? I think you would take the Jags pass catchers. And when you look at the age range and when you look at like the different types of pass catchers you have, and when you kind of put all of those things together, when you talk about the Seattle Cooper Kupps had injuries after injuries. And if we were talking about Cooper Kupp 5 years ago, you'd probably have a different story, but we're not.
AJ Barner's good, but I'd still take Brenton Strange over AJ Barner. Yeah, I think when you talk about how far away the Jaguars are from the Seattle Seahawks, there's also intangibles, right? And the Seahawks, we've mentioned this multiple times. The Seahawks, the first year under Mike McDonald, were 10-7 with Geno Smith at quarterback. They understood how to win basically in his first year.
Yeah.
And then you turn around, you put in a better quarterback, and you add some other pieces through free agency, and that culture in Seattle has been really good for a long time, right? Like that's why they were able to win a Super Bowl prior to that with a different head coach. And so I think this culture probably is a little bit farther off because and culture I know is hard to define, but losing culture versus winning culture are two different things.
Well, I think with John Schneider, their GM, he's similar in Stoner here for the Jags.
That's your new favorite nickname.
I love it. Yeah, absolutely. He gets guys that love football.
Yeah.
You can tell. I mean, granted, when you're winning, you love football, of course,
right.
But you can tell that not only are they very athletic and very physical, they enjoy playing with each other. They enjoy playing the game. They're fired up. We saw them here in Jacksonville. That was mid-season or early part of the
October 12th.
Yeah, like second quarter of the season, right? They came in here. They were very physical. They controlled the game for the most part. Great on the road. That just doesn't happen. I mean, that's Mike McDonald getting his team ready. So I think that's what, I always say, like that GM, fill in that room with the right kind of guys, right kind of people, right kind of athletes, right kind of players, and make it all gel together because that coach knows exactly how to get those guys going. And Mike McDonald's done a good job, and John Schneider's been there. I mean, you were never getting rid of John Schneider. I mean, he just the the Russell Wilson trade
Mm-hmm.
alone. Like, look what he built out of that. He got 4 really good players out of that. So
Yeah, it's one thing to get 4 picks. It's another thing to translate that to 4 really good players.
Exactly.
And I understand when you're picking guys in the first and second round, they should equate to really
Should,
good.
yeah.
But we talked about, and we're not giving up on Mason Smith, but we talked about yesterday how he hasn't contributed yet as a second round pick.
Well, look at Nick Demon Nori.
Demon Worry.
I remember him last year because he was big and fast safety, but there was a knock on him, maybe an injury or something. And Schneider, see, that's what makes it like he sees that. He's like, okay, maybe a little bit of a project. Maybe we got to wait till he's healthy. But that guy's too big and too fast and too good when he is healthy. I'm going to take a shot on him and take a chance. And he ended up being one of their better players on the defensive front. That's kind of maybe a sixth sense to figure that out.
Savviness.
But part of that is, okay, he's our kind of guy too.
Yeah, he fits.
He fits our room.
And we talk so much about the Rams and that trade with Goff and Stafford and how that kind of turned into, the Super Bowl for the Rams and Matthew Stafford. But Seattle trading away Russell Wilson, I don't know if it's talked about enough of what he turned that into, because he also got Jackson Smith and Jigba and Witherspoon out of that. So you talk about winning a trade, and it's not like they got a star. They got Drew Lock. So it's not like they used that quarterback in return, but what he did was use those draft capital out of a Russell Wilson, who Russell Wilson had won a Super Bowl for you, and you just were like, okay, well, it's not working anymore. It's time to try and freshen things up and find something new. And that takes a general manager who thinks into the future. And it's not always, sometimes you have to say goodbye to pieces. And I've said that a few times, when we're talking about what the Jags have to do this offseason, you might have to say bye to some guys that you like to think about building something in 5 years, the longevity of a team. And that's how Seattle thinks. He's so forward thinking of being like, okay, we're trading away a quarterback who's won us a Super Bowl, and we're getting Drew Lock in return, who's probably not going to be our quarterback, and we're going to be able to get a star wide receiver, and we're going to be able to get a star corner, and we're going to be able to fix the offensive line, and then we'll figure out that quarterback, and we'll be able to plug and play something. And it ended up all working out, but that's definitely thinking beyond this next year. That's thinking years and ahead.
And look, they got a little lucky with Sam Darnold, right? Because Minnesota let him go. You're like, wait a minute, we'll take him. He could fit here, no problem.
Yeah, I wonder what they would have done
too. But I mean, they made Geno. Geno played well there.
He did play well there. Yeah.
They didn't get to the Super Bowl with Geno, but you were still watching 10-win football team. So it felt like they were so well built, you didn't need a star quarterback. And that's how he kind of built that team, is we can plug and play a guy in here who just plays good. And I mean, you can't even say avoids turnovers, because he led the league in turnovers, and you're still winning football games.
And you look how the defense, like Leonard Williams was a trade, Jaron Reed was a draft pick, Derek Hall a draft pick they got out of the Russell Wilson. You know what I mean? Like Bill Witherspoon, draft pick.
Trenches.
Yeah.
That's what you basically just boiled that down to. Trenches. And I think that's what the regime, especially Tony Baselli, having been here for so long, understood. They have to build those trenches back up, right? And so certainly the offensive line played a lot better, I think, than people anticipated this past season in 2025. But the defensive front didn't play great against the run, not great, stopping a really good quarterback, right? And so
championship enough.
not enough, speed rush. And so I always think of it like, okay, if the Jaguars, Ryan O'Halloran has said, trade for Max Crosby. If the Jaguars had Max Crosby this past season, would they have won the Super Bowl? If the Jaguars had just, adding that one player, if the Jaguars had Myles Garrett, could they have won the Super Bowl this year?
If Trayvon and Eric don't hurt their hands, maybe do they?
Right.
I don't know. Maybe. You know what I mean? Who knows? But
do you think that affects the postseason, though? They were both fine by the playoff game, or no?
I don't know. I thought Eric still had his not the whole club on, but he still said something going on with that. I look. You know how I feel. Like if they let him go, fine. But you definitely got to get younger and more. Wreaking havoc from both those positions. Devon Hamilton's too. I mean, Jaron Reed had 7 sacks. Byron Murphy had 7 sacks. Those are interior nose tackle type guys that are getting to the quarterback as well. So we need more of that.
And that's, I think, the hard part to extrapolate what they've done in college to what they're going to do at the NFL level. That defensive tackle. Like edge, I feel like is almost a little easier because that's something that you can really see easily, but defensive tackle, I feel like, is a little more difficult.
Well, here's the thing. I think it's for every position, and some guys break through it. But that first time you get jacked up, by a veteran or by an NFL, you're like, okay, that didn't happen in college. You're like, whoa. Like, man, I used to run right around the tackle in my pass rush. Now he's just as quick as me off the ball. How do I defend that? I look at like Derek Harvey, who had all the talent in the world, and he just didn't do any moves. Like, he just would run up the field, and everyone thought that was the last piece. Him and Quentin Groves, God rest his soul. That those two would be the edges that we just needed. That was taking us over the hump, and it didn't work out for whatever reason. I don't even know the reason, to be honest with you. But you got to make sure that you get those kind of guys that you do hit on. We just said it. Having the picks is one thing. Bringing in the free agents is one thing. But making them fit and making them hit. And you look at Seattle, you see all the hits over the years. You know what I mean? I wonder with John Schneider with Russell, because I felt with Russell Wilson at the end of his Seattle going into he cared more about his brand than anything. Like, every picture, he was like this perfect model, like the mink coat, the watch, the shoes, the briefcase. Like, he's coming off the bus, you're like, you're like, what are you doing? I wonder if Schneider saw that early. They do see those kinds of things. And like, you know what? We love Russell. He won us, he's been great for us. But, maybe it's time to move on.
We've heard about that was clearly the right call.
But we've heard about certain quarterbacks, like Carson Wentz was one of those where the locker room just didn't love him, and Russell Wilson. That certainly sounded like the case towards the end of his time there. And then
Derek Carr.
And then Derek Carr for sure too.
Right.
And so you do wonder how much that affects things, and bringing the conversation full circle. We've never heard anything other than Trevor Lawrence is beloved in that locker room.
Yeah, definitely.
No, listen, I thought Trevor is a rookie. He was so young then.
Yeah.
He would stand in front of that podium like he was a vet. All the crap going on in that team and that organization, everything that was going on, and the year wasn't good, but yet he stood up
coach
there.
Coach is in Ohio still.
Yeah, didn't get on the plane. It's
Coach is working his side hustle up in Ohio.
I would love one time to ask an anonymous amount of head football coaches, NFL coaches, whether past or present, and be like, did you ever think about not flying back with the team plane? Like, no matter what was going on, obviously with Urban, it was just he wanted to hang out at the bar. But regardless of what's going on in your life, did you ever think about not flying back with the team? They would be flabbergasted. And I remember I was on the Frangie show at the time, and Hayes was like, how is he not fired today? Like, I don't understand how Shad didn't fire him in that moment, but I get it. Shad believed that Urban would turn things around. Yeah. And
it was early, too.
It was week 4.
Yeah. I just imagine being the players on that plane. I mean, like, Coach stayed? Like, what is he doing? I don't know. I heard he's going to the bar.
And then you see the videos, and then he lies about it. Then you see the next video, and you're like... And then I always thought like Trevor was like newly married. Like, you imagine like, hey, honey, we got to go have dinner with the coach. No, we're not. No way am I ever going near that house. You know what I mean? That's friction you can't. That's never, ever going to work.
And I've heard stories of coaches from that staff like being out way too late, like the night before games and things. And it's that's not how it works in the NFL. Maybe that's how it worked in college, and you won some natties. I understand.
Have a curfew. Get it all in before the curfew. There's plenty of time, trust me.
Spoken like a true veteran. All right, more to do on the other side, including the golden moment. Don't go anywhere. It's Helmets and Heels, 1010XL on 92.5 FM.
What's 1010XL's starting lineup?
The starting lineup.
Hicken and Prosser in the morning. Dipsy and Fat Tony with the Jags. Joe C, Matt, and Leon middays. Tommy, Lauren, and Taylor. Helmets and Heels. Frenchie and Carline drive you home. Baloo and Hacker in the evening. Live and local all day. 1010XL.
When you step into a courtroom, you're stepping into a fight. Someone wins, someone loses. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we've got the experience you want in your corner if you or a loved one suffer a personal injury or a wrongful death. We're here to fight for you. So if you get hit, hit back with Hastings Injury Law, offices Jacksonville. Find us on the web at 904hitback.com or call our 24-hour helpline, 904-HITBACK.
Hey guys, Taylor Dahl here from Helmets and Heels. Just 3 days away from Valentine's Day, but no worries. Peterbrook Chocolatier has your back with 15 North Florida locations. It's never been easier to celebrate your Valentine with quality ingredients like truffles, hand-dipped strawberries, my personal favorite chocolate-covered popcorn, and custom gift baskets of all sizes. Peterbrook makes it look easy to shop this holiday, so pre-order now at your local chocolatier or visit peterbrook.com. That's peterbrook.com.
Helmets and Heels.
Protected by
Green Law Group. For the insured. Fighting for you.
This is Mark Nato. My son Justin injured his hand playing baseball for JU. Southeast orthopedic specialist performed surgery just a few days later, and within 5 weeks, he was cleared to play in the ASUN baseball tournament. Our family has trusted Southeast orthopedic specialists for years. For any orthopedic injury, let Southeast orthopedic specialists take care of you too.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast orthopedic specialists.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. From GFL, Green for Life.
It's a blizzard of big wins at Best Bet Jacksonville. The Best Bet Blizzard on the Beach Poker Series is heating up February 5th to the 16th with 10 tournament events, Best Bet live stream feature and final tables, and $600,000 in guarantees. It's cold outside, but the tables are hot inside Best Bet, with satellites taking place daily into the $1,700 Mystery Bounty main event. Learn more at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
We don't have too many cold nights on the First Coast, but when the temperature drops, you want to hit the heat button and warm up. That's where Florida Home comes in. They're the AC experts in Jacksonville, and the importance of keeping your heating system in good working order is really important. If it stops working when it gets cooler, Florida Home will leap into action and provide you with the best solution. Heater and heat pump repair service and new system installation. They do it all. Just call Florida Home AC at 777-4300, the official heating and AC partner of the Jaguars.
Get your tickets for the Tom Coughlin J-Fund Wine Tasting Gala. Join Super Bowl winning coach Tom Coughlin at VyStar Ballpark Thursday, March 5th and raise a glass to help local families tackling childhood cancer. Enjoy hundreds of wines from around the world and food from top local restaurants. Buy tickets and learn more at tcjfund.org/wine. tcjfund.org/wine.
Hacker here. You know, people think Awaken 180 called me or asked me to go on the program. They didn't. Truth be told, I asked them. Didn't even take a talent fee. I didn't want to check. I wanted my weight gone. I was done with waking up tired and lethargic. I was done. And let's be honest, I wasn't failing diets. Diets were failing me. I didn't need any hype or motivation. I needed instructions. The Awaken 180 program was like finally stopping the backyard play calling and having a coach in your ear saying, run this, now trust it. Once my brain got out of the way, everything changed. No overthinking, no negotiating, no self-sabotage. The weight came off fast every single week. Like clockwork. The biggest surprise wasn't the scale, it was the relief. I felt like I finally stopped fighting myself. That's when Awaken 180 took over. So if you're waiting to feel ready, don't. I wasn't either. That's why this worked. Awaken180weightloss.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
Wrapping up today and some of the thoughts on a lot of Trevor Lawrence talk, a lot of QB talk, how far Trevor Lawrence is from some of those top quarterbacks, and some of the things that he improved on this year that we feel comfortable and kind of continuing to see that development and what has worked, and then some of the things maybe we want to see more of. We wrapped up. I was talking about the red zone. I wanted to kind of talk about these last two things: the blitz, when blitzed, and when pressured. Some of these numbers when it comes to Trevor this year, and so the blitz numbers this year. He was really, really good against the blitz. And that's something that I think we saw. The pressure, not so much. And I think that's also something we saw. And that's probably why Seattle and Rams games went the way he had got sacked 14 times in those two games. Those were two of his worst, but not as good games. They didn't have to blitz a ton. They just had that natural pressure on him, and it really affected him in a lot of ways. But starting with the blitz, we'll go there. So actually in 2022, he was the third best quarterback against the blitz in 2022. And so he completed, I want to say the success rate, his success percentage was 54%, and he completed 68.5% of his passes when being blitzed in 2022. This last season, it was a 46.71 success rate, so a little less than 2022, and a 62.16 when being blitzed for 2025. And so a little bit less too than 2022. He was the 8th best quarterback this year against the blitz, but this is light years away from what we saw these last two seasons, where in 2023 he was 46th quarterback against the blitz and 24th and 2024 against the blitz, completing only 38% of his passes in 2023 and 45% of his passes in 2024. So those are things that you saw really good in that 2022 season, and then it got drastically bad in 23 and 24, and that kind of resurged. You saw a resurgence in 2025 with that. And so when you look at those, he had 10 touchdowns and 3 interceptions when being blitzed this year. And then he had 40 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns when being blitzed this year. So a lot of good things when it comes to that. That's what you want to see, and trending the right direction. The pressured is where there's still some issues. He's stayed in his career high 30s, low 40s of quarterbacks when being blitzed. And so obviously some of this when you go through, because you can do like a minimum number of snaps, because this is including all the backups and stuff that played. And so on this, I did do a minimum of 50 just because that was the only way it would include him into that. So this year he had, the success rate for him this year was 33.9 when he was being pressured. He has 5 touchdowns, 4 picks when being pressured this year, just the natural pressure, not those blitzes. In 2022, he had 7 touchdowns, 5 picks. Last year it was 3-1, and then 2023 was 8-6. So, and he stayed in it's 49% completion percentage when pressured this year, 41 last year, 46 the year before, and 49 the year before. So that's one area that we probably want to see improve. All quarterbacks, when you look at the numbers. But I mean, like I said, he's in the low 30s. So there's a lot of quarterbacks that do a lot better. They're completing the high 50s, low 60s% when pressured. And that's probably the range you want to see, because that's where Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, all of them sit in that range.
Yeah, and I think he should be better just from the fact that he should know where the blitzes are coming from potentially, where the hot read is, where to go with the football, pre-snap, right? That's what he got better at. So you think that would help him when he's getting pressured like that, because he'll know before the snap maybe where they're coming from, or at the very least I know who's going to be open, kind of a blitz beater, if you will. Whether
which that's what screens are a lot of times. And this team for some reason didn't do great with the screen game, which we thought they would, because Liam Cohen, we know he ended up changing some of the play calls on the back half of the season because they weren't as good with the screen game. But
they hit the screen a few times early. It felt even throughout the year, just not enough to where you thought like it was going to be that much of an impact. But obviously a blitz, unless they're in man. If they're in a zone blitz, you can be. Or if they're in a man blitz, you can be in trouble on a screen because someone's got the back and they're just going to hug up on them. But if you're in a zone, catch them in a zone blitz, then you really got them.
Does Sumer Sports break it down as to when Trevor was wearing the wristband and when he wasn't wearing the wristband? When it comes to this pressure and everything like that?
Take it off. When did he?
It was around the Cardinals, I think. It was around
after
that
the
time.
Cardinals game or during the Cardinals game?
I remember we talked about it. I remember we came in here on Monday and we were like, he's wearing the wristband.
Yeah,
and he hadn't been wearing it.
Time. Yeah, because when you look at the sack his sack percentage under pressure too is at 18.2%. Just for reference, sack percentage for some of the top guys was like Brock Purdy was only 8 when he was being pressured. Bo Nix was only 8. Caleb Williams was 10. Jordan Love was 10. CJ Stroud was 12. So that's a drastic. That's something that you definitely, some of that's the line, some of that's Trevor, and the sacks. Just depending on the situation.
And taking a sack as opposed to throwing it away, or maybe not holding on for that last second to see if the guy's going to get that kind of thing. That could be, fixed and tightened up.
Where does intentional grounding fall into these things?
Or going over the line.
Or going over the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Where does that factor into it? But again, that's where
that was early.
Yeah, there were moments this season that I think a lot of people had their doubts that Trevor would ever figure it out, right? And that's where the exciting and optimistic part of things lies in, is that the more time in this offense, the more time figuring things out and learning as far as what Liam wanted Trevor to do, but also what Trevor felt comfortable doing, having that communication, right? Like their relationship, I'm sure, only got better towards the end of the season too. And Trevor being able to audible and things like that, and Liam trusting him to do that. All of that we saw improve, and the situational awareness for sure improved.
So the post from 1010XL's page, I literally just Googled when did Trevor Lawrence start wearing his wristband again, and it took us to one of our posts on it, so that's kind of cool. But we posted after the game, so it was going to be after the Chargers game, he started wearing it, and then Arizona was the next week.
Okay, so and obviously we know the Chargers game was fantastic for the Jags.
Yeah.
Terrible for the Chargers.
Yeah.
Now his rating in QBR for the Chargers wasn't that impressive, but the win was.
And that's what we care more about sometimes.
Well, and that's where you're like, okay,
correct.
What does it really matter anyway?
Right. Like if Sam Darnold didn't play that great against the 49ers, but they won 41 to whatever it was, it just doesn't matter at that point in time.
Agreed.
All right, so we've got another giveaway, a family 4-pack of tickets to Sporting Jacks, the Women's League game that is this evening. So if you want to go tonight to see Sporting Jacks take on Spokane, as a matter of fact, the Spokane Zephyr FC. That game is at 7 o'clock at Hodges Stadium. Be caller number 4, 641-1010, caller number 4, and you are on your way to see some football this evening. The pest of the day awaits on the other side. Don't go anywhere. Helmets and Heels, 10 to next on 92.5 FM.
This is Helmets and Heels.
Fought for you by Green Law Group on 1010 Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
Welcome to Key Buick GMC, proudly family-owned and operated since 1943. Come see why they're North Florida's new and pre-owned truck center, conveniently located on Southside and JTB, just minutes from the St. John's Town Center. At Key Buick GMC, every new vehicle comes with our lifetime powertrain warranty. Key Buick GMC, we are professional grade. Online at keybuickgmc.com. Lifetime powertrain warranty covers engine, transmission, drivetrain only. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
Frank Frangie here, and Big Chief Tire makes it easier than ever to get the tires you need with the Big Chief credit card. No annual fee, low monthly payments, and great promotional financing. Plus, you get free flat repairs and rotations, and right now, $50 off your first purchase when you sign up. I love how simple they make everything. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com to apply for the credit card and get the tires you need today. That's Big Chief Tire.
Instant Keys is turning 25. A quarter century of saving the day when your keys mysteriously vanish. Seriously, it was just in my pocket. Or when that remote fob decides to quit working.
The dealership is such a hassle.
For 25 years, Instant Keys has been the go-to locksmith service for car keys, house keys, transponders, re-keys, and even high-tech smart locks. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you for honest, professional locksmith service. Use Instant Keys.
Checkmate. I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, company mascot at your service.
There are 2 important steps to installing the perfect garage floor. The 2-stage coating application, sure, but nothing is more important than preparing the floor. Our team uses diamond grinding machines to grind your floors to a smooth, level finish. Only then can we...
Hold on! You grind garage floors with perfectly lovely diamonds?
No, Chester. We grind floors to perfection using the very best ugly diamonds. Too ugly for jewelry, but perfect for the grinding pads we use to prep the surface.
Perfect preparation and application. Now that's a perfect marriage.
Ugly diamonds?
Check. Perfect preparation?
Check. Smooth, Gorgeous gleaming floors that really catch your eye? Checkmate!
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit checkmatecoatings.com.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. When pests invade your home or business, you don't just need them out, you need them out fast, and you need to keep them out. When pest issues arise at our house, I know Terminix will be there quickly, and I can always trust that their technicians will come eliminate said pests. They will do the same for you and your family because they care about what matters most to you. When pests show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with a pest problem, Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule your free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to ITPPartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success.
Greenlaw Group is for the insured. If you think you have roof damage, call 904-302-7055 today, and they will schedule you a free roof inspection. Trust their law firm to help you fight your insurance when you need it. These storms can cause damage you may not even see yet. Call Greenlaw Group, 302-7055. There's no cost to retain their law firm and no cost to have your roof inspected. They only get paid if you win. Greenlaw Group, for the insured.
I'm Stacy, and I want to tell you about my fogged up window fiasco at my house. I called up Mac at Baker Glass, and he told me all I needed was a glass replacement. The process was so easy. All within a few days, they came out, measured, called me with an estimate, cut my glass, and came out to install the new ones. Now my view outside is fog-free thanks to Mac and his crew at Baker Glass. And my neighbors think I got some fancy new windows.
I'm Mac with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Get ready to break on through this Valentine's night. Experience the Ultimate Doors Tribute live at Thrasher Horn Center February 14th. Get tickets at thcenter.org.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
I wonder how many people, while driving, still do the drum solo on the steering wheel.
For sure.
Reminds me of The Hangover every time.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah,
That one?
Yeah, if you're in the passenger seat, it's easy on the dashboard. But if you're driving, it's a little more precarious at that point in time.
I feel like Tommy's fine. I feel like he's not the safest driver, probably.
I'm a great driver. I keep my eyes on the road and the hands upon the wheel. There's
Okay,
no
that's
doubt.
good.
I was driving my dad's
I don't
car.
get distracted.
Yeah, well, mine was in the shop, and his car will tell you, because he has a newer car, it'll tell you if your eyes are not on the road in front of you. It'll be like, put your eyes back on the road. I was like, what is happening here? I was like, I'm just looking at the park or whatever it ends up being. But yeah.
These new cars do crazy things. Even like I just got a new car, and that one, it beeps like if people go by, like if they're too close on the road. You got you have to get used to that
You
because
do.
it scares me, and like you almost like overcorrect sometimes because it beeps. It also, I just realized today, like if I'm backing up, it'll also beep if someone is like driving by, because sometimes if it's like if you're at like Publix or whatever, you'll slowly because there's people coming and it beeps, and so it has like a wide range where it'll beep if somebody's about to walk by our car, and I'm like, it's nice, but you just have to get used to it because it throws you off when you're not used to something just yelling at you while you're driving.
I don't like it.
I don't like being yelled at.
I don't understand the whole, like the newer cars where you stop at a light and it shuts off,
Mhm.
and then when you go,
It's
weird
to
too.
conserve gas, but I haven't yet had a car that's done that, but I do know that you can turn that feature off.
Oh, really?
Yes, like in my dad's car, he told me. I hate that, so every time I got in his car, I would turn that off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have any of the fancy bells and whistles. I don't even have the blind spot monitoring, right? I don't even have those little lights on the side, but I do just fine. All right, time now for today's Pest of the Day is always brought to you by our friends at Terminix. You can find them online at Terminix.com. That's TERMINIX.com. The Pest of the Day is going to be the Norwegian athlete who admitted to cheating on his girlfriend. They had been together for about 6 months, and he claimed to love her, but yet cheated on her about 3 months into the relationship, and then decided to tell her just a week ago. That's really the part that gets me, is you cheated on her 3 months ago, but you just told her a week ago. And, oh, by the way, you're competing in the Olympics, so you told her the week before. That just doesn't seem very smart. And then I read a quote that he was saying in an interview that he does some dumb things despite the fact that he's a member of Mensa. So he had to still do a humble brag while admitting that he also does idiotic things and cheating on his girlfriend. But yeah, they don't cheat. Terminix does a great job of taking care of the pest issues at our house, which means we don't have any, as well as Everbank Stadium, VyStar Ballpark, VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena, and all of your favorite event venues around town. Because I've done cancer too many times as the pest, I decided not to. Yeah. But we do have to mention that James Vanderbeek from Varsity Blues and obviously Dawson's Creek did pass away earlier today.
Yeah, 48.
48 years old,
sad.
6 children, but because of colorectal cancer, stage 3.
So sad.
It's terrible.
Dawson's Creek was my childhood. I loved that show. That was me and my mom. My mom and I I don't know what day it aired, because back then you had to wait each Tuesday, and you'd wait for the episodes to come out. But yeah, that was one of our favorite shows. I don't want to wait for our lives to be over. I wasn't going to leave you hanging.
Don't come in here, Hayes. Do not come in.
Hayes just opened the door and left. I don't know if Dawson's Creek would be in Hayes' wheelhouse.
It's not in mine. I'll tell you that much.
Have to ask him.
It was a good show.
It was a fantastic show. I was
So
obsessed with
good.
Pacey, which was
Oh, me
Joshua
too.
Jackson. But yeah, we'll turn our attention to potentially now Fat Mike White and all things Florida sports.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Florida at Georgia tonight. Do you want to talk about Dawson's Creek or Fat Mike White?
Fat Mike White. You got to watch out for him. He's dangerous. He beat the Gators in Athens last year.
That was the last time Florida had lost,
yeah,
which I had kind of forgotten about that.
Yeah, it was. We were at the Combine, so it was. It was one of those things that we watched it there.
You were pissed off.
Yeah, and yeah, absolutely. And but yeah, it's crazy to think that was the last time that they lost and won the national title. So. We'll see how it goes tonight. Florida, pretty significant favorite. It's ranged from 8.5 to 9.5 points. But it should be a good test for Florida in that we're not in the final couple weeks of the regular season, but we're starting to get close. You're starting to see the bubble crystallize a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia really needs this win. I mean, if they get the win, they're solidly in.
Yeah.
But they're struggling. They don't have a lot of momentum. So Florida is going to see whatever intensity Georgia has as a team. You got to think they're going to see the maximum amount tonight. So I think it'll be a good test for Florida. So we'll certainly break the game down. The matchups coming up on the Frangie Show and talk some Jaguars. Brett Hastings will join us to do sports and courts. Obviously, a lot to get to with Mr. NBA being ruled ineligible in Alabama. So we'll get to all that coming up.
And Georgia's leading scorer won't play tonight, Jeremiah Wilkinson.
Yeah. So I mean, I think Florida will be okay, but it will be interesting to see, can they match the intensity that I have to think Georgia's going to have. But obviously that only goes so far. I mean, Todd Golden has dissected Mike White pretty much every time he's 7-1 against him.
Right.
So, I mean, I think you're confident if you're Florida, but the game it's important for both sides. Florida wants to maintain sole possession of first in the SEC, and Georgia's fighting for their life. So
absolutely,
it's going to be fun.
So you were 902-0, not Dawson's Creek?
I wasn't really either. I was more of Melrose Place.
Oh, Melrose Place. I loved Melrose
But
Place.
I did one time fail a lie detector test because I told a female police officer that I had never seen it. Thank you, JJ LaSilva, my brother in Seinfeld, who knew exactly what I was referencing.
Anytime someone on this station, I feel says, I once had a friend, I'm like, and this is a Seinfeld
there you go.
reference.
There you
All right,
go.
thanks, Hayes. Yeah, I loved Melrose Place. I loved 90210. I loved Dawson's Creek. It was probably a little older, but yeah,
it
all
says
good.
92 to 99.
Yeah, a little older for you.
I watched Days of Our Lives in college. It got me through school. It helped out a lot. Anything with
But you're
good-looking
laughing
women,
at
I'm
our
watching.
Dawson's Creek, and you watched that, a soap opera?
Well, I didn't sing the song to it.
Well,
It's an
tomorrow
iconic
you might.
song.
By the way, we are live at Peterbrook Chocolatier in Ponte
Yes.
Vedra Beach tomorrow, 2 to 4. So
Come get
come
some
hang out with us and get your
chocolate.
Valentine's, something special that'll do it for us today. For Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks. These heels are made for talking. We will talk to you tomorrow. Don't go anywhere. The Frangie Show is next. And oh, by the way, remember that Florida Georgia game tonight will air on the Superstation.